Good morning, good afternoon. What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. Great to see you all this morning. Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. Hey, what's going on, Hanson Life? Hey, so happy you're all here this morning. We got a pretty exciting session ahead of us. We're going to figure out what's going on over here. We see a lot of choppiness this morning during this summer trading environment. We're going to put it all together. We're going to make sure that it's Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. Hey, man, appreciate that. So big smile on my face as I begin the session with all of you. So I just want to thank you all for being here and bringing that smile to my face. All right, let's get some. By the way, when we talk about tacos, simply because I live in Mexico, we eat a lot of tacos. The better our trades, the more tacos we eat. It's not any type of inside joke or anything like that. Anyone here today is on the inside circle of this group, and I'm glad you're here. That's right. It's evening over down under, and glad you're here to make it 62 Taco Tuesday. All right, everyone. Let's take a look at what's going on. By the way, on the calendar, it is a light week. It continues to be a light week on the calendar. We have tomorrow, we have some ISM non-manufacturing PMI numbers, but really it's Friday's non-farm payroll. It's kind of a wild card. We'll see how the market reacts. That's what I'm waiting for. I am into this week aware of my surroundings. What does that mean? I know that we're in the first week of August here. We're just coming off of an expansion, right? When I talk about expansion, the last 2 or 3 weeks of July, you saw these large moves on currency pairs, specifically US dollar pairs, right? And I'm looking for consolidation coming out of that. So I'm being very, very choosy about my setups this week. It's got to be clear for me to take an entry. That's where I'm coming from. And I want to get you there. Where? Why? Mexico. Well, I don't know. Beautiful people, wonderful food. Here we go. So what are we looking at today? We're looking at the dollar. By the way, someone brought up earlier in the session. They brought up the Turkish lira, right? Turkish libra, excuse me. It was the Turkish libra. I don't follow exotics. I did read some information earlier this morning that basically they raised interest rates to, what was it, over 1,000% because the currency is just getting demolished versus the dollar. That's not my thing. I'm only going to speak about what I know and understand. I don't follow exotics for that very reason. For that very reason, it's highly volatile and unstable, low volume. It's not where you want to make Turkish lira. Thank you. It's not where you want to look to make a living. You want to make a living looking for high probability setups. Keep it simple. There you go. 800. I heard over 1,000, but Kevin is saying 850% this morning. That's insane. Let's stay away from that type of action, and let's look. Is that causing the dollar to be a little bit bid this morning? Maybe. Maybe. I want to put it all together with you and for myself right now. This is actually going to be a pretty good session, a little bit fast paced. Very good insight there, Kevin. I was asking, I've noticed that yesterday and late last week, we were looking at the US dollar Mexican peso correlation breaking down, right? Once we took out this resistance over here, confirmed it to support. That's the target we're looking at over there to the upside. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look. We're going to start off with a quick view of the equity markets over here. And you can see this is still looking quite healthy, right? Markets are not showing. There's a lot to be worried about. I'm seeing desks, investment desks all over the place calling for a 10% correction, intimate. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. By the way, to our channel, how much of a decline are we looking at to get to our support over here? That would be a 3%. Where's a 10%? Wow. You think? Listen, if you broke the trend line over here, by the way, everyone that follows this channel is very aware of what it means to be on the right side of the market. This is the guide we're using here for the equity markets, right? And as long as we're above it, we maintain that bullish hit. I can understand breaking below there and then looking for maybe, I'm not saying that this is what, if that happens, if and when that happens, we will then assess it and analyze it and figure it out. But if you broke that trend line into this support over here, that's a 7% decline. That seems like a better, safer bet than from up here, where everything is ultra bullish, calling for a 10% decline. I don't know. Probably if investment desks are calling for a 10% decline, they're looking to sucker in their clients to the wrong side of their trade to get them out of some positions and probably take the other side. What else are we looking at? We're looking at the dollar slightly bid. Is that coming from emerging markets? I don't know. I'm just following what's happening on the charts. I do see a little bit of a possible reverse head and shoulders playing out over here. That should take us probably into this resistance over here if it does play out to fruition. Be aware. I'm looking and continue to look for consolidation. So what I'm looking at is not for this reverse and head and shoulders pattern to actually play out. I'm more looking probably for us to take out some stops up here. And then the next resumption downwards, I think that would be really where we do resume backwards. We'll see what happens, how that plays it out. I'll be, as it's unfolding, giving my insight into it. But right now, I'm not reading much into anything. This is a choppy day so far going into the session. You saw since New York entered, and New York enters, they get to their desk a little early. It was about an hour and a half ago, you started seeing that rise in the US dollar. We'll monitor it. I don't want to make any type of judgment right now on that whatsoever. You could see gold maintaining with that quote unquote stronger dollar. Dollar's only up 0.3% so far in the day. We'll see if that's the beginning of something more sustained or if that's faded. Again, I'm waiting. I don't have an opinion. I'm letting the market show me what it's doing. I think that's really the not mantra of the week, but really my mindset going into this week is that I just need to be proven. Something needs to be really clear for me to get involved. And I'm glad right now to be observing from the sidelines because nothing yet is really so clear. Gold is consolidating still very nicely over here. Again, right at all-time highs. Nothing else to say. Oh, by the way, so the headline, treasury yields are tumbling back to record lows, come back down over here. This is what I want you to focus in on. This is what's important as yields plunge. Negative yielding debt soars and sends alternative assets. How about hard money? How about sound money assets higher? You're looking at gold and Bitcoin rising. This is a trend that's going to continue. That's why we're looking at a prolonged precious metals bull market, which is really hasn't even gotten started yet. How about that? It hasn't even gotten started yet. Gold just made new all-time highs. The moves are coming. Silver consolidating beautiful here below the 2450 resistance. A break above this. Again, that opens up the door. You have the resistance right there. Let me show you. Let me show you where that is. Boom. Look over here. You can see these touches over here all into that area of support. Follow my mouse, the horizontal line all the way to the right, and you see that coincides right there. Now, that's a small level. That's a small level. You see we hit up against it once. Let's see if we knock it on again on a break of 2450. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Me too. Me too, Murray. I'm always trying to picture in my head what's happening next. And to be honest, it's kind of like when you're doing that all the time, you don't have to take trades just because you see them. If you are picturing things that are unfolding all the time, that's really just getting you in that zone. It's getting you in that zone. Earlier today, we had Mark talking about what it's like to be in the alpha wave state, right? Drinking that matcha tea, putting you in the alpha wave state. You know, in that alpha wave state, you just think different with a different type of clarity. When you're watching the market moves unfold, whether you're participating in them by putting actually money behind it or just staying in that flow, that helps you for when you actually decide on the choosy trades that you want to get involved in. Yeah, please do. Anyone here this morning, and there's 638 of you, go ahead, smash that like button, right? Show some love over here. We're watching Bitcoin off today. Let's come down to the 8-hour time frame. Watching Bitcoin slightly off today, about 1%. Again, this trend line over here, as long as that's holding, ultra bullish, right? If we get another test of the support over here at 10,570, that's an important one. I don't think we break here. If we test there and break there, that opens up high alert, because at that point, we're coming back down in. We're testing the breakout of the bull market breakout. And not only that, there's a good chance then that the CME gap will be filled if we break 10,572. So watch out what happens. More clearer. Not so much, Jordan. What's more important after the breakout, and let me pull back a little bit just to give you a better view of that. After the breakout over here, this set off the bull market. After the breakout, we are testing the upper limit over here. Back down, test it. We're consolidating, right? Consolidating is uber healthy after a breakout like that because you consolidate until it's time for the next move up. I think we're targeting 14,000. Again, that's just the next move. I'm not calling. It's not at 14,000 that we will necessarily see a 30% drop, which would take us all the way back towards 10,000. What I mean from 14,000 on, I'm looking for that first 30% drop. And then I'm going to be there looking to position in further to Bitcoin. I will not make another trade on Bitcoin until those two things happen, until we take out 14,000 or test 14,000 and then have a 30% drop. That's when I'll be looking to position in for my first 30% pullback on this bull market phase. Ethereum, looking pretty good here, holding up a little bit better than Bitcoin. Let me come back down to the 8-hour. And again, So what Ethereum did, let me come to the 3-day time frame with you. Mike Allison, great to see you this morning. After breaking out over here at $360, that set off the bull market on Ethereum. There's a lot of hype, a lot of speculation, rightfully so, going on Ethereum, and that is because of the whole DeFi, decentralized finance, being built out and growing. It is still a highly speculative industry in its infancy. Maybe even worse than infancy. Maybe still in the womb. But if Ethereum looks good here. Ethereum, in my mind, is probably the safest altcoin to be investing in due to its market cap, due to its liquidity, due to the amount of other projects and ecosystems built on top of it. Keep that in mind. We saw linked. Those that are following hit new all-time highs. Again, what do you do in bull markets? Buy the dip. This was a 20% pullback. That's where I first got in. Another entry over there. That's now off to new all-time highs. And also Tezos testing the $3.32 resistance overnight. Once it breaks above that, look for that retest and then a test of its all-time highs. Crypto looking beautiful, and so are precious metals. This chart is really important here. When you talk about all of the negative yielding debt in the world, which is just going to increase. That's why you're seeing the flight to sound money. I love how they call it alternative assets, right? It's funny how comfortable people are putting all their money in the equity markets and they don't think that's risky. I guess that's herd mentality. That's not how we view it. All right, we're going to watch the dollar this morning. We're going to be looking what's going on in the euro US dollar. So Steve. By the way, most of you know that I am a big fan of BlockFi. I have been using BlockFi for all of my Bitcoin purchases for over a month now. And I find it to be, it's like Coinbase was back in 2016. It is the best and easiest, smoothest experience you could have for buying Bitcoin. Plus, they're paying that 6%, right? But they pay 8.6 on stable coins. So, Steve, right? What do? Do you go ahead and do you sell Bitcoin, making it a taxable event, right? Earning that 8.6% interest at the height of the bull market? Or do you take out a loan? Which is not a taxable event? You could borrow, right, US dollars versus your crypto. Do you do that? Do you take out a loan, hold that cash? It's not a taxable event then. And then do you, with those funds from the loan, do you buy back down when it's time for us about 15 months? I don't know. That's, I'm focused right now on the bull beginning. We just set off the bull market over here. Set off the bull market this break. We got quite a bit of distance between now and 2021. My attention, my focus is on clarity and riding this bull here. I'm not so much concerned about the exit portion yet. That's not going to come, probably in the summer of 2021, as in the fall, September, October. That's when we'll put a lot of focus onto that and we'll talk about what we're doing, but not right now. That's not necessary. What else are we looking at? Markets are a little jumpy this morning. To me, they're choppy. I don't like choppy markets, right? I don't like choppy markets. There are a bunch of videos on the playlist. Look for the channel's Bitcoin playlist, and you will find a wealth of information. But listen, if anyone's asking if they should buy or sell something, do not buy or sell anything. There's no way that you should take investment advice for someone else. That's not going to work out for you at any time. What you need to do instead of making any decisions is just, simply move to, I need to learn more. I need to put more time in observing, researching, reading, learning, practicing until you understand what you're looking for. All right, let's take a look over here at the Euro US dollar. The Euro US dollar first resumed. Now, time of day is important. Everyone in the course knows that. Now, bounced off over here. This was not an entry signal. Was that an entry signal over London? Perhaps for some. We're coming in now and we're testing this trend line again. This is a big deal over here. It's a big level. Now, Most importantly, what I see going on is consolidation. We had a big move, right? Now we're coming up and we're consolidating. I don't want to get caught up in the consolidation. I'd rather just continue waiting and waiting until something's clear. This is not clear for me right now, right? What happens if we break down? It's so hard. You got this little trend line right here coming into that. You know, being an observer is a really good place. Did you ever get yourself into a trade? Did you ever take a trade just to take a trade? And then you're in that trade and you start watching that pair really closely. And then hours or a day or two goes by and you're like, if I should have entered right here. Now it's clear. Don't do that. Don't enter until you know it's clear and then enter the trade. Oh, thanks, Kips. I wanted to talk about this also. Now, in Spain, we are seeing some alarming rise in cases. I don't want to get into that yet. First, I want to talk about what's going over here. I'll add Spain in a minute. What we're seeing over here, this does look like a big dip. Now, that's coming mostly from Brazil. You see that big dip down in Brazil, right? Now, that happened over here as well. But this time we made a lower low. You see over here, we didn't make a lower low. Over here, we made a lower low. That's a hopeful sign because normally as the cases start decreasing, as you've seen around the world, it happens at a rapid rate. It happens at a rapid rate once the cases start declining. Look over at the United States also. You can see the lower low put in, right? What I am envisioning by the end of August, that the cases in the United States are well under control. I think the next few weeks are going to see cases in the United States drop substantially, as well as in Brazil. Mexico, you can see that dip also happening a little bit. Not really sure. India, not so much yet. India, not so much yet. So that's hopeful for me. Hey, I'm all about hope, right? What else? This is just the 10 most affected countries, but you could see that sharp drop here in Brazil and in the US. Listen, there is hope. India, not so much. Okay. What about Spain? Let's take a quick look together. And you can see that rise right there. Maybe we could see it better on the log scale. You could see this is very, very worrisome here in Spain. They're talking about going to pretty strict lockdown measures. In France, in southern France, they're now saying people have to wear masks even outside. For example, you're hiking alone in the woods, you got to wear a mask. That's an interesting development. But Spain is an alarming sign. What I personally, and I'm not an expert, although I will say, back in January, again, it's on the videos, back in January is when we first started talking about the risk that this virus was presenting and how it was going to affect the markets. That's when we began thinking about getting short oil. What I think is going to happen is sometime either in the fall or winter, you're going to see a spike like this occur back in the US. But right now, it looks like the US is doing pretty well, and I'm very hopeful about the next few weeks. It's all very important. You're seeing the stock market, the equity markets in Spain breaking an important trend line today. Don't think, so that's interesting. By the way, let's talk about that for a second before we get into the charts. Yeah. So, by the way, I believe Sweden's doing well now, and that's great. We're optimists and we're hopeful and we are, looking for the best. But if things are not pointing out to be the best, then they're not, and we're also realists. All right. So, well, by the way, just so everyone's clear, it's not just the cases are coming down I don't think for real, I don't think the US has anything to do with the testing going on in Brazil. That would be a little bit ridiculous. But what I do think is happening, you could see the death rate. The death rate doesn't show over here. The death rate is also falling. The death rate's also falling. So it's not a matter of that there's less testing being done, right? The US leads the world in the amount of testing being done. The death rate's also falling. So it is what it is. Listen, you have to be a really objective when looking at data, right? You take all your biases aside. When you're looking at the charts here, when you're looking at any data, you got to be detached, right? You are there looking at the data in order to come to a reasonable conclusion, not to confirm your own bias. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So, yeah, of course. This is a good question. Could gold and silver pull back? Of course. This healthy and bullish consolidation you're seeing here, right at all-time highs on gold, that could break one of two ways. That could break to the upside or downside, and we don't know which way it is, but we do know if it's breaking to the downside, we're not looking to participate in that. You're not looking to sell gold. That would be pretty ridiculous selling gold in this environment. What you're doing is looking for a pullback to look to step in. Now, I think 3 to 5% pullbacks on gold are all attractive right now in this bull market. That's a 2% pullback. That is a 4% pullback. Either one of those would be a gift, and the safe trade at the same time is if gold breaks out, you're looking for that first pullback, and then boom. And by the way, the first pullback after new all-time highs, that's the one you want to be involved in. That's a good one. What about silver? Silver's very clear too. It just continues to consolidate right here below the 2450 resistance, right? Pullback in silver, right? That's one. That's another area. And both of those, that must be, I would say 15%, no, 7% down. Let's take a look. 9% or 6%. Both of those very attractive on silver. So what happens if you break above? Same thing on gold. That's the better trade, the surer trade, right? But that's my mindset on the precious metals as they're entering. When I say entering, because gold just make new all-time highs. Silver's lagging a lot, as is this is like gold and silver is like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is Ethereum. It's quite bullish, but it's not even close to taking out its all-time highs. Look at Ethereum. Same exact thing. That's silver. All right, let's check out Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, well, it's halfway to its all-time high, which is a lot better situation than you're looking at Ethereum. And then same thing with silver. Silver not close to its all-time highs. It's about halfway there. Gold at all-time highs. All right, so boom, 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 boom. I'm just catching it on the comment for a second. Yeah, let's get into all the FX. We're seeing the pound give back some gains today. We're seeing the Swiss franc, the strongest today. By the way, a very important observation as you're seeing that little bit of a bid in the dollar this morning. Pay attention. You're seeing that bid in the dollar this morning, but what's happening with the Japanese yen? Are we seeing a move into risk off? Maybe. Not so much, but maybe. Maybe it's the beginning of something. Maybe it's the beginning of something. In the last half hour, Japanese yen has made back some gains, but I would say it's a very choppy mixed day. A very choppy mixed day is the title. Ooh, that's a Vincent. That's a very aggressive. Very aggressive. Oh, Jason, thank you for bringing our attention. So that's right. Gridlock is a really good use of words over here on the stimulus, right? And you have to think that the longer this goes on, the longer any type of indecision goes on, that any type of stimulus is actually going to be, probably less than originally planned. I would imagine we're probably around the 1 trillion. I know that a certain side wanted 3 trillion, the other side wanted less, but I think the stimulus is coming. But at the same time, I think it's going to be a little bit less of a shot than we expected. Equity markets so far not worried. What could worry the equity markets? We're seeing tensions really strained between the US and China, whether it's the US basically smashing and grabbing TikTok or kicking out Chinese journalists. China says that they are going to retaliate in a measured response. The market is not really concerned about that. The market's not concerned about, it looks like taxes are going to be raised in the US. That's going to stifle any type of recovery. It is what it is. We're here to follow what's going on. It's not so much what should be going on to as much as what is going on. Let's take a look at what's going on in FX. All right, we'll start with the euro. The euro is still, this is going to be a quicker session. I have about 30 minutes here. I'm going to get off early this morning at 10 o'clock Eastern time because we have a live training session for Conquering the Markets at 10:15. All right, so I'm going to make it count since you all took the time to be here. I'm going to make it 100% worth your while. Now, at the same time, I truly hope those paying attention, those putting in the time are seeing the results. I have no idea. I don't think that the last stimulus will be the last one for a long time. I'm not under that impression. I think it's going to be piecemealed. As soon as the next stimulus goes through, then all of a sudden the talk is going to become about the next stimulus after that. That's my opinion. So I'm not sure about that. We'll wait and see as it unfolds rather than getting ahead of ourselves. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Yep. So GP, I mean, if you look at the last 5, 10, or 15 years, the first 3 weeks of August tend to be on the back foot, let's say, for the equities, right? They tend to trade slightly down. Are we expecting more of that? Yeah. I mean, if during the month of August we get a nice little bit test of that trend line, I'm going to be there and I'm going to be looking for a resumption off to take a position. And if we break, yeah, then we'll be aware of that when we're playing it. We'll just follow what's going on, but ultimately this remains that's the ultimate take profit, and from there on we look for that small retrace. All right, that's what I was thinking. It makes more sense. By the way, that Treasury is still sitting on all that money. The Treasury, maybe that's what the market's looking at. Treasury's sitting on almost $2 trillion of cash. That money's going to be put to work in an election year. No doubt about it, right? Because the president does have control over how that money's used. So that maybe the market is not so much concerned about the next stimulus coming out of the House and Congress, or whether or not the Fed is going to inject any funds. Maybe they're looking to the Treasury. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. I do think that traders, not traders, I should say, those in finance are taking their regular summer break. Yep, a lot of them meant to be, but everyone's still connected. You could be in a cabin in the middle of Switzerland, and you're still connected. You could be on a beach in the middle of Belize, and you're still connected. But do I expect volatility? We haven't seen too much volatility lately. Things have been pretty stable. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that snapshot going back to the beginning of July. That's pretty stable. All right, let me see what's going on in FX. We're going to start here at the bottom. Mexican peso, right? Getting smashed by the dollar over here. But you're in a trading range. You're in a trading range right now, right? Do you sell the resistance? Do you buy the support? I'm not sure. I'm not getting involved personally, but I want to look at everything. US dollar, Canadian dollar. I believe Canada had some type of holiday if there's any Canadians in here. But this is, again, not a market that I want to be involved in. So I'm going to keep going until we find something that perhaps does. Yeah, sure. And thanks, man. Thanks for appreciating the impact. I'm trying to make it count because that's important to me. And listen, just like anyone who's watching any video published in the afternoon or any time, if you're taking the time to watch it, you're taking the time to comment. That's important to me. I'm reading those comments and I appreciate them. Thank you for that. US dollar, Swiss franc. Again, so by the way, I'm sorry if that I am a little fast pace, as like when I pull up this US dollar Swiss franc chart, I just noticed at a glance it's not attractive to me. So I'm going to move on, right? That's okay. We're going to wait and to see if there's any clarity that we like today. All right. Monday was at max. Greetings, my Canadian neighbor. I wanted to check out the markets real quick. I see the DXI, kind of blah, 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 blah. Sorry. All right, here we go. US dollar, Japanese yen. Okay, this is a little more interesting as we have come up into this area of resistance over here. And it looks like that we have the possibility of getting rejected. Notice the dollar is quote unquote strong today as it's barely up. But any type of hope for dollar bulls is hope for dollar bulls. You're into some resistance over here. A resumption down is possibly a short signal over here. Well, it's a short signal. It's a question of whether or not you want to take the trade, but it's the best looking pair that I've looked at so far this morning. I'm not even going to yellow flag it because I'm not interested in. This is interesting. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. This is into an area of support over here. Watch this. Watch to see if that resumes out of there. Obviously, if it breaks down, then we're looking at the next support below. But this little bit of a US dollar impulse is setting up some pairs. Maybe it's going to be on US dollar pairs. I don't know. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. That's also into an area of support over here in an uptrend. But it's also sideways. Could everyone see that sideways price action over there? I don't like sideways markets. I'm looking to get involved into trades that have the potential in the near term to break 2 or 3 levels. New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. This looks pretty, I would say, bearish over here, breaking the support over here. You can see right down below where we are right now is also a little bit area of support though. So that's not too worrisome. Let me push this down over here. All right, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. This is interesting. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar has pulled back down into an area of support. So that is actually interesting. Maybe it's the cross pairs that are going to offer the opportunity. I'm going to flag that and keep going over here. Could you do an XRP analysis? Listen, you can make or lose a lot of money in XRP. It's 100% highly speculative. And the thing about it and why I refuse to participate is you know, it's a scam. The company Ripple is unloading their XRP onto retail. All right, so there you go for XRP. Pound US dollar, pound giving back some gains today, right? Pound giving back some gains today. But this is very controlled. This looks good. Is there any support that you could look to? I'm looking over in this area over here. You see the little bit of support, right? That's kind of where we're coming back down into. Let's move this up. Let's keep that over there. Go watch that. We'll see how price reacts. But a couple flags today more than I expected. This is pound New Zealand dollar. Skipping right over it. Pound Japanese yen. Oh, I don't like that lower high over there. I don't like that. I'm making my rounds. I'm trying to get a feel for the market. And right now, all that my instincts and head is telling me is that there's no clarity. This is choppy. It seems to be entering that consolidation, which makes complete sense looking around me, knowing the expansion we just came off of and that we're in the middle of August. We'll get to it. We'll get to the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, but I'm working the way up my list. You can see the list right over here. We got the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar up there. I'm working straight up the list. Brandon, good morning. Thoughts on lengthening the cycle theory for Bitcoin? And if you're taking into consideration in your exit, I don't think that the cycle of Bitcoin is lengthening. I've seen some people put out some thoughts about that. I'm not in that camp whatsoever. Listen, this is my roadmap. This fits not only because this fits with this. Let me bring it up for you. This also fits with what the charts show, right? This is my roadmap. I'm looking, again, the bottom of the bear market seems to be pretty clear. It's around 15 months to the next halving. That's where that's where we're going to start accumulating in again. The exit part is a little less clear because you can see this dark green dot. That was the bottom. This dark green dot, that was the bottom. The exit is a little more difficult. The exit is going to be difficult, right? I'm not trying to catch the top of the bull market here. I'm not trying to catch the top tick at all. I'm trying to time my exit at more or less just the best possible that I could do. I have no expectations of getting the top. There are some speculation that we go as high as 288,000. I'm more in the camp if we reach that 140,000 target, which I do think we're gonna reach. And there's a video on the Bitcoin playlist that talks about some price targets for exiting. I do think the 140,000. I like to set goals that I could achieve. That 140,000. Believe me, if we reach it, it will be a phenomenal trade, meeting all expectations and beyond. Do I think that listen, Kai, we're going to have many cycles ahead of us, right? In the next, we just had one halving. We have two more halvings ahead of us in the next 8 years. We have two more cycles after this cycle. So it's a total of 3 more bull markets. 3 more bull markets in the next 10 years, right? We're going to take each one as they come. We're going to first focus on this current bull market unfolding in Bitcoin so that everyone following and paying attention is able to make the most of it. And then when it's time to exit, we'll focus on the exit together. And then what we're doing during the bear market, listen, everyone is going to be made aware. And then again, when it's time, but we're going to focus on what's in front of us. We don't need to talk about what's happening, 4, 5, or 6 years from now. We only need to focus right now as we just entered the bull market here. Let's get everyone profiting here. All right. Yeah. Look at this emoji play over here. It's beautiful. This is beautiful. Prayers, faith, right? Riding that wave. Get some tacos, surfing and smiles. Wow. What makes you place the trade? Yeah. So listen, and truly for everyone of all levels, the trading course that I provide and offer is absolutely essential. If you're interested in furthering your education and working towards meeting those goals, getting to constantly profitable, first getting to profitable, go ahead and do that. That's what you want to do. Is that a head and shoulders on Bitcoin? Let's check that out really quick. All right. Is that a head and shoulders on Bitcoin? Are we seeing a reverse head and shoulders on the US dollar? Let's put it this way. If this is, I'm not trading that as if that's a head and shoulders, but if that's a head and shoulders that you're looking at, by the way, nice eye. That's our trend line is the neckline. Okay. That then our trend line, which we're following and using anyway, is just the neckline. We'll see. DXY, let's check it out, by the way. All right. Choppy market. I don't see any follow through. It's turning around Tuesday. Murray, timing's everything. Don't worry, brother. Whenever it's right for you. Whenever it's right for you. Yeah, of course. The live training sessions are for those that are taking the course. No, Diego, make sure that you're not leveraged into Bitcoin. By the way, for anyone trading Bitcoin with leverage, 3 times leverage is a lot for such a highly volatile and speculative asset such as Bitcoin. All right, do not get over leveraged. There's no reason that in a bull market that anyone should be losing money trading. Buy and hold. Go for the length of the bull market. We're talking circa 18 months here. All right. Yep. Max, we're looking for silver to outperform gold. We're looking for silver now that the precious metals are in this bull market phase. I'm looking for silver to outperform. I've done, Max, have you seen when I've done the gold to silver research? I went back to 2008. I want to get back right into FX in just a moment. When I go, and then tomorrow we'll take a longer look at this, Max. We'll get into the gold and silver ratio. Listen, I'm more of a gold bug, but I definitely believe silver outperforms in this environment. That's the way to do it. Yeah, Max, we'll get into it tomorrow. Let's really finish going through these FX pairs over here. Let's see what else is going on. We looked at the pound Japanese yen. I kind of switched right over it. I don't like really that lower high over there. You see that on the Dow as well. This is interesting on the pound Swiss franc over here. You can see this area of broken support. It's already marked as resistance. A close above that and then a resumption up, that does open up a nice buy signal. I'll be aware of that. I'm curious to what's bringing in that bid to the Swiss franc today. I'm not sure. If something's not interesting to me, I'm just going to avoid it right now. Was that sell the resistance right there? I don't know. Right? Downtrends, sell off resistance. That should have been on my radar. That was a good looking setup. This on the pound Japanese yen, now that we pull back into that support, if this area holds and resumes up, that provides a nice looking add. I'm currently still holding an open trade on there, or perhaps a new fresh entry for those not involved. So there's some things to work with over here. You're seeing the euro here give an entry versus the pound. That's a pullback, right, into the support and resuming off. So nothing, I don't like anything going on today, but I'm seeing possible. I've flagged a bunch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pairs. So perhaps maybe overnight there will be some orders to be placed. I am kind of trying to keep myself neutral right now. Look at that double touch into that resistance. Look at that on the euro Canadian dollar. Wow. So that's a strong uptrend you're looking at here on the euro Canadian dollar, pulling back over here into a nice area of support. Look at that. That is an interesting trade to focus in on over here. Euro, Australian dollar, sideways. So you see that base? What happens after long, big consolidations like this? This is now going on 2 months. You get big moves. Big moves. So anyone who's tracking and has the patience to really wait for the breakout over here, there could be a potentially really big move setting up on the euro, Australian dollar. Swiss franc, Japanese yen, looking good. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, I'm not interested. Australian dollar, Japanese yen continues to hold the trend line here, resuming off of it. Still holding. A break of this trend line, where does that take us? Back to the support. Still looking to buy this support. Any test of that support. You also have this trend line over here. For us to become bearish on the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, this is the risk on, risk off pair. If we're seeing this technically, which is still very bullish, right now what you're seeing is this, right? And I'm looking for that to break to the upside. If we break down over here, it's this trend line over here, really, this confluence right here. Below that, then I would be really selling the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. But it's not until that breakdown over there, technically, that we would be thinking that we're seeing that type of risk off in the markets. By the way, that would coincide almost identically with a break of our trend line over here, just so you could see that. So we're kind of just maintaining right now. We're maintaining. Australian dollar, Swiss franc. Sideways. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. That looks pretty nice over here. Someone wanted to look at that earlier. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, resuming out over here to the upside. It's not something that I would like to take at all. Actually, after that move down and then this type of price action, watch out for a low, a resumption there. That could take us on the next move down. But that's not exciting for me. I don't really like that. Australian dollar, US dollar, consolidation. What were we looking for going into this week? For price to consolidate. What's happening so far? Price is consolidating. Do you want to be pulling the trigger, taking a bunch of trades in that environment? Not me. I'm waiting and I'm patient. That's still holding, right? A resumption off at the right time. I might be interested in taking a long on the euro, Australian dollar. I don't really see anything of interest or anything. I flagged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but neither one of those is even close to an entry, right? Neither one of those is even worth taking a second look at right now. But each one of those that I flagged this evening before going to bed, as I'm in bed with my wife, I'm going to take a look at those pairs and see if any of them warrant me placing any orders in. I'm not trying to force anything because I don't think this is the week to do that. No, I don't. That's, yeah, right? That's where I'm at. I'm just checking out, reading up on your comments, everyone. Eric, this is TradingView. TradingView is by far the best platform to use for doing your analysis. TradingView.com. Listen, you're when you're entering the market, you're entering a highly competitive field. You have some of the brightest minds in the world competing for that precious resource of capital, right? If you're not yet ready to trade, do not trade. Invest your time and invest your time into your education. If that means watching our live streams for the next 2 or 3 weeks, that's the best investment you can make. Do that. Do that for sure. That's going to vastly improve your knowledge. Listen, it's not so much about what lot size you should use. That depends on where your stop loss is, because you're not going to trade the same, no matter what size the account is, you're not going to trade the same lot size if your stop is, 100 pips from market or it's 500 pips from market. Listen, take the course for real. Metal's perking up. Let me check it out over here. Consolidating beautifully over there with that quote unquote strong dollar. By the way, you're probably seeing with the currency getting obliterated in Turkey, you're seeing that flight right to gold. Bitcoin trading at an all-time high, obviously, versus the lira. And again, just coming back to here, what are we looking at? This is the perfect environment for both Bitcoin and gold, right? We know silver probably is going to outperform in this period. I believe Ethereum is going to outperform over the next 12 months, right? But I'm all about Bitcoin and gold. All right. Is there anything else? Because we have a few more minutes here together this morning. Is there anything else that we want to take a look at really closely together? Yeah, that's not going to be just on the wealthy. By the way, don't get fooled. J May, this is a great comment. And you're talking about how that, Congress, because they spend money with no oversight and just waste the American people's money, indebting them further, that they need more of it to spend. Government is the worst person to allocate funds, right? So they're going to start taxing the wealthy. Don't think that they're going to stop taxing the wealthy. They're talking about introducing a new tax on unrealized gains. Could you imagine? Oh my goodness, this is going to stifle growth. Listen, we have some tumultuous times together. We're gonna get through it together. But don't be excited about them taxing wealthy after they introduce whatever centralized type of digital dollar, and they're just going to be taxing everyone ridiculously. That's not any type of solution. No, never, Darren. The 8-hour time frame is the best time frame to trade Forex on by far. Time of day is very important. If you're not yet profitable, start on the 8-hour time frame, and you're going to find that your trading is going to improve drastically. Yeah, let's take a look at the Euro US dollar. The Euro US dollar is still holding that area of support over here. This is a big area of support, or I should say an important trend line, not a big area of support. It's going back all the way to 2008. This breaking down, and by the way, I've shown the DXY breaking down also. Oh, here we go. This is really neat to look at. First, notice these two lines I have here on the Euro US dollar. This is the first time I'm noticing this. These two lines I have over here, right? These two trend lines. And by the way, right now we're sitting above the outer one. And if this holds, right, we could see a big move against the dollar. On the DXY, we have those same two trend lines. Look at that. Let me go to the 3-day. I didn't even notice that. That's the same two trend lines in the euro US dollar. It makes sense. And that is because the DXY is so heavily weighted versus the euro. But you could see them there. Why we are below this trend line on the dollar, we're looking for this area to hold and a resumption downwards. Technically, this looks really poor for the dollar. Now, it could go either way. You know, you don't want to bet the house here on the dollar, on the euro against the dollar. There's no reason to do that, right? But if this holds, and by this holds, we make out higher highs, then we're having a big move against the dollar. Technically, the dollar looks in very, very poor shape, but this could be a false break. For sure, on the euro US dollar over here, we could fall back down within this trend line. Let me clean that up for you really quick, please. We could fall back down below this trend line, right? And at that point, we're looking for some type of move into this trend line. If that trend line breaks, that does not become like a trend change here, but that means then that we're most likely looking for a pullback into this trend line, the other one. So you're at a very critical level here, but I think that you're in the, you know, we're in a choppy day that's not going anywhere, and you don't want to get smacked around. Did you ever go in the surf, right? When the waves are really rocking and you get knocked around, right? They have that big undertow and you get knocked around. It's not a fun feeling. That's kind of the condition of the markets today. So what do you feel like you need to take a trade to make money? You're going to lose money. Do you feel like you need to take a trade today to make money? You're going to lose money. Actually, let me know what trade you're taking so I could trade against you. Yeah, we looked at the DXY inverted head and shoulders here on the 8-hour, right? So if it's on the 8-hour, you can see it happen on the 4-hour. That's possible. That's possible. I'm leaning, you know, I'm just observing it. I'm observing it. That's how, I mean, that sounds like a perfect question to just type in to a search engine, DuckDuckGo, right? And there you go. Yeah, let's take a look at the NQ over here this morning, right around all-time highs over here. Anyone that's involved in this trade right now took small profit over here as we hit all-time highs with stop loss at break even and continues to hold this. The exit on this trade would be the S&P hitting our target price. The resistance over here, it's a confluence of resistance. Horizontal resistance at 33.39. And then you have this trend line resistance. And both of these two trend line resistance, you can see twice in the past, we peaked above to the top line 3 times, right? So in this area right over here, once, if you hit there on the S&P, because there's nothing above us right now on the Nasdaq at all-time highs, there's no resistance above you. What do you use as a guide? I would use the S&P as a guide, right? If you come into that take profit area that we've been tracking now and looking, that's when you want to exit your NQ trade, in my opinion. Yeah, so not unless you're making money, by the way. Once you realize what it takes to make money consistently, you will not do you will have no problem with a lack of discipline at all. You will have no problem with a lack of discipline at all. And if that means sitting on your hands for days on end, you'll do that, no problem, because it feels good. It feels good to make money, Miguel. Listen, if you find that you're taking too many trades, you have to limit yourself to 3 trades a week. You have to limit yourself to 3 trades a week. There's no way to meet all the goals that we've set out, right? First goal, 3 to 5 weeks, break even or better. After that, you're working towards 3 months of consistently profitable. That means risking 0.5% and having a percent gain on average for 3 months in a row. Then after there, you're ready to move it up. Double, go to risking 1% per trade, looking for that 2 to 3% per month. That puts you at 24 to 36% per year. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's exactly what your goal is. We got the template, but you got to be disciplined. You got to do it. Everyone, let's not get off just yet, even though it's time. Let's go out with some nice music over here. And looking for last night's update, I loved on the channel. Hope you enjoyed that video. I thought it was very, very informative. Thanks for everyone who watching those afternoon videos does go ahead and enjoys them. Smash that like button. I do appreciate that. We had a long session yesterday. We went about 2 hours. We got a shorter one today, but we'll be back tomorrow. No, that course is highly discounted. The course is highly discounted. The course is highly discounted. It's next to nothing for what the value is. Everyone have a beautiful, beautiful day today. Doey, I think by the way, I want to focus on this comment for a second. I think the most important thing to take away from today's session is the environment of the markets, which are choppy right now. They are choppy. We're surfers. We don't like choppy waves. Let's let this thing work itself out. Let's wait for the next bit of clarity, and then we'll attack. About the results, Murray. You know, we're seeing real results in almost a significant amount of time. There's a link below in the description, my brother. This is a downtrend, right? This is a downtrend. We look to sell resistance in downtrends. I'm sorry, I take that back. Let me pause the music. Let me pause that music for 1 second. This is a difficult one. This is a difficult one because if I'm like this, clearly I'm in a downtrend ever since the March highs, for sure. I'm in a downtrend. We come into pretty strong resistance over here. What do? You're looking to sell, right? And you're just getting now, this morning, a sell signal right here on the Euro US dollar, right? Until you clear back above that strong resistance, you could only think of selling. If you zoom out a little bit more, though, then I could say, well, I'm in no man's land. I am in neither a downtrend or an uptrend. I am actually dead center, right? So what do I think about that? Summer, first week of August, markets seem to be choppy, consolidating. Avoid it. Avoid it right now. Wait for that clarity. Wait for that clarity. Thank you, David. Thanks for being here. Jesse. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it so much. Wes. Right? How much money do people spend? How much money do people waste thinking that their cost of their education in the markets is losing money? Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. That do not waste your money trying to figure out like it's the cost of education by taking losing trades. Oh, sorry about that. Will, have a beautiful day, my brother. Dinkar. Yep. Thank you so much. Great trading, by the way. Great trading. Thank you very much. That's right. We're just waiting. This is a great comment, Justin. That's right. We're waiting for the waves. It's all right. They're going to come. I'm holding that for a few weeks myself. Thanks, Mountain West, pointing out that we got the New Zealand Central Bank decision tonight. Let's take a look over there. Australian dollar. Australian dollar statement tonight. They're expected to keep rates unchanged. Kenneth, Thomas, Miguel, thanks for being such a great presence here, as you all are. Appreciate that. Right, Andre? I'm reading your comments. Hey, welcome. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Brad. I appreciate that. I truly do. I truly believe it with all of my heart. Yeah, Danielle, we're looking for our target on the S&P 500. We're looking for that target over there. Hey, Gemma, everybody, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you tomorrow.